can enjoy a diverse array of recreational facilities, including playgrounds, hiking trails, picnic areas, a boat ramp, and a designated swimming area, along with a scenic overlook for breathtaking views. The best time to experience the falls is during spring and early summer, when water flows are at their peak, influenced by winter snowmelt. Named after the founder of Twin Falls, the Perrine Bridge is a remarkable 1,500 feet structure that spans the breathtaking Snake River Canyon. This four-lane bridge includes pedestrian walkways on both sides, allowing visitors to take in spectacular views of the canyon and the flowing river below. Finished in July 1976, the Steel Arch Bridge carries US Highway 93 and is perched 486 feet above the river, making it the 8th tallest bridge in the United States, with a main span of about 993 feet. While the stunning scenery makes the Perrine Bridge worth a visit, it also holds a unique title. It is the only bridge in the US that permits base jumping without requiring a permit. Pedestrian walkways provide stunning views of the canyon, safely separated from the roadway. On the south side of the bridge is the Twin Falls Visitor Center. Salmon Falls Dam was originally constructed in 1910 with the primary goal of storing irrigation water. It is currently owned and operated by the Salmon River Canal Company. A secondary function of the dam is flood control, and it has successfully managed floodwaters on two notable occasions in 1984 and 2017.
To the March board meeting for Ignite CDA. If we'd all stand and for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. It's time for public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? Please come forward. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar consisting of the board meeting minutes for February 19th, 2025, the approval of the payables as submitted, and the approval of the district monthly financial statements.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments, questions?
in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, Tony, the Executive Director's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few items to update the board on the Atlas project. The Atlas Project Ad Hoc Committee met recently with representatives from the Panhandle Affordable Housing Alliance, PAHA, and Hayden Homes. The committee continues its outreach efforts to learn more about various attainable housing models that may be appropriate for the agency's consideration for the Phase 3 site of the Atlas project area. And I think Commissioner Miller might want to share a few thoughts about the Ad Hoc Committee.
Sure. Well, I will tell you that it's been the last few meetings we've had. I think that the committee has learned a lot about what has gone on and what possibly can happen at that site from these different organizations. They got a really in-depth perspective. I will tell you that Amy Pace was also at this last meeting with that group. And Amy has a strong financial background. She's been the person who has been clearing all of the applicants for the Miracle on Britain project. So she had a really in-depth perspective on how those applications are coming in, how they're reviewed, how the financing is setting up, and was able to really give a good perspective to the rest of the committee on the number of applicants, where they're from, that 95% of them are local folks that are working here in this community, and that are, many of them second generation families who are trying to buy here. That the size and the types of the homes that they wanted were right in the Miracle on Britain project, and that's the one that's out in Post Falls. I think you guys have all heard about that one. But that was basically the presentation that they were talking about of how this shared equity model worked, and how they were able to get that price down, and how that they're building. They've got 5 homes, they're out of the ground, and I think that it made the committee had good questions, but they had the right team there to answer them and say, here's a model. And their basic premise, and the reason I think it was really important for the ad hoc committee to hear that, is that they wanted to be a template on how attainable housing could be reached. Here's a way to do it. We want to build this and have it be able to be replicated throughout the region, throughout the state. So that was a really good way to do that. Amy is now also the new executive director at the North Idaho Building Contractors Association, and she's been involved with that group for a long time. So her and Deb Flagan, who's the vice president of Hayden Homes, and they have their own foundation that does attainable housing throughout 3 different states. That's kind of been one of their models, is to get some homes every year out of their building model into that ongoing price point of the area median income, that 80 to 100%. So they were all different perspectives, and I think it gave us a really well-rounded, different perspective than the last folks that we had talked to. That what can you do, and how is this going to work, and I think a comfort level that there's new tools out there to be successful with moving forward with products like that. So that was my takeaway from it. Maybe you want to add something to the rest of the
I think you
conversation.
summarized well. It was just good to have the exposure to the different products and the different expertise, and lay all the options on the table. So I think we have a little more research to do, but it was very, very productive.
And I think next month, Tony can maybe talk about that.
Yeah, so I've reached out to Idaho Housing and Finance Association and the housing company to see if they can make some resources available for the ad hoc committee to meet in April to kind of help kind of maybe close the loop on the financing side, as well as understand maybe a little bit more what the housing company can provide on this front. So hopefully we'll get that scheduled in April.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about, sorry about that, I didn't mean to, bringing, that's 3 different groups with very different perspectives to bring this ad hoc committee together to say, you know, there's not just one way, but multiple different ways that we can take a look at this and be able to really come up with some good feedback and some good proposals, I think.
How do prospective buyers or applicants learn about, for example, Miracle on Britain? How, I mean, is it through their lenders, or is there?
Well, for Miracle on Britain itself, they actually did they intended to do a formal marketing campaign over it, but literally what happened is, as they just rolled out the concept, they got some press and some news media about it, and because they're an established nonprofit that's well-known and easy to find, they just had applicants come in. So they had 28 homes, I believe it is, and they had almost 200 applicants
Well, that was
for
my
the
next
28.
question. Okay.
Yeah, so,
So do you guys anticipate the ad hoc committee putting out an RFP? Or how are you doing the model in terms of, are you just choosing from these three groups that you guys?
don't think we've gotten to that.
We're not, the committee's not at that stage yet. There's still
Okay.
more information gathering right now. And the plan is, following the April, kind of conversations, and then determine if there's more conversations are needed, then they're gonna start forming a path forward and a recommendation for the board this summer, I assume.
Yes.
I think even there was some conversation of, just because we heard from these two together and these two together, we might take this one with this one. If they're not, and I even followed up with a couple of them who were presented together that they agreed they're not, they're interchangeable. So it could be just choosing the best for this group and this particular scenario. So that's kind of the stage that we're at, is finding the best of the best.
Thanks for the update. Questions?
Next item I have, Mr. Chairman, just an update on the monument signage. The design and final pricing effort is continuing. The plan is to bring this issue back for further board consideration in May. Also, on the remaining structural fill material front, we're still planning for approximately 6,000 cubic yards of structural fill delivered from the Sherman Avenue Hagedorn Hospitality Project. And the ITD I-90 project has been pushed back a little bit. We're still planning to get that information, hopefully get some of that material, but they've pushed the bidding out till April, May, and award probably early summer. So we're still on the line to make ourselves available for a place to bring some nice structural fill. Also, we're continuing to work with the city on a possible new fire station location on the northwest corner of the Phase 3 site. And finally, we're continuing to work with Northwest Communities on the master HOA issues, including right-of-way repairs caused by contractors and contractor site maintenance involving debris and cleanliness. So there's been some issues out there that Northwest Communities has been working on to kind of keep things looking nice and tidy, and the contractors are being told to toe the line. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, unless there's any other items you want to
Questions for
discuss.
Tony? Anyone? I have a question on, you said that Dale Hatch was retiring?
Dale Hatch is retiring at the end of this month, and his retirement party is happening right now.
And how's that gonna affect our signage?
He is on task to help us complete that.
On retainer, okay. Anything else? Next up then is board commissioner comments. Any board commissioner comment? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, and Mike, that's a wrap. Okay,
Oh.
All right.
12 minutes.